Welcome back to the Life of a Dev, and today we're going to be taking a look at hackerrank.com. That link will be down in the description in case you guys want to visit the site. But this is a site that I use to really cover all my aspects of programming. So as you can see by the screen, there is a ton of different sections that you can go over. Java, Python, AI, SQL, anything that you really want to do should be here. So today we're going to jump right into what I would consider a bit easier of a language to learn, and we're going to jump into Java. And so, as you can see, down on the side, there's a bunch of subdomains. There's the introduction, strings, big number, data structures, all this stuff. And all of this is extremely important. But today, we're just going to start out with the introduction. As you can tell, I have a couple done. So, when you have one done, you can try it again, and have the check mark if you got it right, and it's awesome. Shows you all these nice things. So, I'm going to hop into the first problem. And so it gives you a problem, there's your submissions tab, a leaderboard, and discussions. The discussions are based around the problem. The submissions are your submissions, the leaderboard, pretty straightforward. And so the problem in this one is to just print out a couple things. And so I already did this one, so it's already filled in. But you just type in those two lines, which it tells you to do up here. And then there's no input for this one, but the output, it'll show you how it should be formatted, and then it'll show you a sample output. And as soon as you have your code typed up, all you have to do is hit run code. And then that will test your code against all of the test cases that they provide to you. And so I got a green check because it worked out properly. But if you go ahead and remove the periods, you'll see that you get a red X. It'll say that you did not pass the test case. It'll show you your output and the expected output, and then a compiler message in the event that it just doesn't compile. And you hit run code. It's right again. As soon as you're done, you hit submit code. And it'll run it again, it'll compile it and run it against all the test cases. Certain test cases are visible, which means that you can test verse it, and certain test cases are private that you cannot even see what they're testing. So that's good to keep in mind. Usually you can hit the next button, but due to me having a couple done, it skips to the next one that I don't have done. And so in this one, we're going to be talking about std in and std out, which is just the standard input and the standard output. And then it's 1, so it's the first one. And as you can see, all we're going to do is read in a couple things at the input, and then we're going to output it as my string is, my int is, etc. And then it gives you the task, which is what you're trying to do, which in this one we are reading in 3 integers, and then outputting all the integers. And then there's the sample input and the sample output. And so they completed the first line for us, which means that we can do the next lines pretty much exactly the same. And so we'll just fill in the scanners, which it's pretty neat because if you start typing in a method or function, it'll pop up with all the options for it. And so like I can just click on a random one and then fill it on in. So that's a really nice thing about working in Java IDEs. Usually I use Eclipse, but this one has a built-in compiler, so I just run it all in here. And so what we did was we just scanned in the other integers, and we just printed them out. So I'm happy with it. They compile. You see here that it tested versus 1 test case, but it has multiple. So just keep that in mind as you're building these, so you don't solve it to solve the test cases that they give you, but solve all dynamic test cases. So that's all we're really going to do today, just to jump into it and show you how this site works. However, here's all the options that we can go through. So let me know which one you would personally like to go through. Maybe you can go through, do a couple yourselves, and try to figure out which ones you want to do more yourself, and then we can work on those problems that you find that you're having issues with. And so just let me know down below whatever one you want me to do. If I don't get anything, I'm going to continue on with Java, and then probably move on to Python as it's a good starter one. And then maybe move on to some algorithms, data structures, and just more generalized options, which in either one of those you can solve it with almost whatever language you want to. So thanks for joining me back again on Life of a Dev, and I look forward to seeing you again in our next episode. Have a good night.